The camera's not on.
Ah, damn it. Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, the podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
Right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, joined with the other host,
Karen.
And Karen, what is this episode going to be about?
Static X in Gary, Indiana.
Yes, this was the Machine Killer Tour with Static X and Sevendust as co-headliners, with Dope and Lines of Loyalty as supporting acts.
Yep.
As you said, this was in Gary, Indiana at the Hard Rock Live, the casino down there. Tickets for this were $39.50 with $14.53 in fees. This is our second Static X show this year.
Yeah, technically.
But the first one we saw.
Yeah.
The first one, and we might even have an episode of this already up.
I can't remember if we ever recorded one or not.
Yeah, if we did, we might link it here. We might not.
Yeah.
But we saw Static X at House of Blues earlier this year. I want to say like April.
Well, we didn't see them. We went to the show.
Sure, we went to the show. We had tickets to the show. Those were postponed tickets from 2020.
Yes. Yeah.
When we originally bought them, COVID happened. This got postponed to 2023 now, so it's like 3 years later.
Yeah.
Kind of long wait, but hey, they were finally here. We're gonna go see them. Dope was gonna be there with them again. Yep. However, I was feeling a little under the weather. My foot really hurt, and we ended up leaving a little bit into the Dope set.
Yes.
I think we got to see Cultist Black.
I think that's who was the first opener. Yes.
They were super fucking awesome.
Yeah. And then once we got home, Fear Factory was
live
streaming. Were they streaming Static X?
I think.
Or they were streaming Fear Factory.
I think Cultist Black was streaming
Fear Factory.
Or whoever the first opener was streaming Fear Factory.
Yep, I think you're right.
So we watched that on like Instagram or whatever.
It was on Instagram, but we what do you do? Like airdrop it?
Airdrop it to your TV.
To your TV.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. But we did miss out on that show, unfortunately.
We did, yeah.
So when this show was announced, I was like, yes, we can finally see them again. Can make up for not seeing them that one time because of me, basically, my body and whatnot. So yeah, I was super excited. Dope was going to be with them again. Sevendust, we've never seen Sevendust live. And Lines of Loyalty, a new band I had no idea who they were.
I didn't know who they were either.
So, yeah, let's dive into the music, I guess.
Okay.
Starting with Lines of Loyalty, what do we have for a set list?
Yes, so they started with Windless War, My Addiction, With or Without You, Fact of the Matter, Voodoo Child, Sight Returns, and this is a Jimi Hendrix cover, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then they ended with I'm Not the One.
Before diving super far into this particular set list, I forgot that there was a little confusion around Doors and everything.
Doors, Showtime. For us, there was confusion.
Because you went on to the Hard Rock's website, I think, right?
Yes.
And they said that the show was 5:30, or the time was 5:30.
The time was 5:30, and I just assumed that was show start time because I was looking at other events that they have, and it was 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I'm like, oh, that's probably the start time.
And most of the time it is. When you see a time listed on a calendar, that is the start time of the performance. And then doors are usually like an hour before that. So 5:30, that's a little early for us for having to drive down there like a 40-minute drive. So.
Yeah, well, and we had to work and stuff. So.
And it was rush hour by that time. So it's like you have to plan things out and try to leave work a little early to get there. That kind of sucks, but whatever, let's do it. But then we also found out through a Ticketmaster email telling you to download your mobile tickets to your phone that the show was 6:30, not 5:30. So 5:30 must have been Doors. And we get there, and sure enough, 5:30 was the Doors for this particular show, right? Because there was already that line lining up through the casino even. Like it was really weird that you had this like rope going down the middle of the walkways of the casino. And one side was the line to get into the venue, and the other side was for people who wanted to walk around and gamble and whatnot. A really weird setup in terms of
I don't think that there's anything else that they could have done because the venue the stage, the venue, whatever, is in the back of this casino, so there's really not anything else you can do.
It's not set up the most cohesive.
No.
The previous show we saw at a casino for the Mega Monsters tour with Gojira and Mastodon that casino, the setup there was a lot better.
Yeah.
Like you had to go up these escalators to get to like the venue floor. I did like the setup of that casino a little better than this casino in terms of where the venue was and how the venue was placed, and then that line obviously going through. We ended up getting food and walking around and gambling a little bit before going in. By the time we get in, like the line was already gone, and we got in what 6:15ish or something like that.
Maybe 6:20, maybe
6:20, something like that. But as we get in, the band's already on there. Lines of Loyalty's already playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got in before the 6:30 time for them to start, but they had already started. And I can't remember when we came in. I think it was With or Without You. So the third track, I think, is when we came in.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
So that was a little disappointing.
But I just wondered, like, did you actually see something that said 6:30, or you were just assuming
no,
doors were 5:30?
The doors were obviously 5:30 because that was listed. The Ticketmaster email said 6:30.
Oh, okay. Okay, I just wondered. I didn't read the email, so I just was asking if you actually saw something.
Yeah, I actually saw that. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So it was a little weird and a little, not frustrating, but a little disappointing that they had went on a little earlier. So we did miss the first couple songs, but I think it was With or Without You. We came in toward the end of that. Then Fact of the Matter happened. We saw them play that all the way through. And then Voodoo Child, saw that song all the way through, obviously. And then the final song, which I'm not the one, which they brought out somebody local to Indiana, they said. I don't know who the individual was.
Who it was, yeah.
But
they have like a song on the record too.
I think they've collaborated together before, and he did like singing with them on the stage and on this album, apparently. It was a fine set, I thought. Voodoo Child was a little like,
I didn't know that was like Jimi Hendrix, but I don't know the music that well. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
And then when they were playing it, it's like, oh, cool, Jimi Hendrix. And it's like, oh, wait, no, you're not really doing it all that well. Like, they're doing it fine, but it's like, I don't know, it's Jimi Hendrix. This is almost like sacrilegious almost. I don't know. It felt weird to hear it, and it didn't sit, not that it didn't sit well with me, but I don't know. It felt weird to me to hear that song, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
All in all, though, a fine set. A 3-piece band. Seemed like cool guys. The energy was excellent on the stage. The sound was great. Definitely an old school rocky kind of sound feel to them.
A rock sound, yeah, more than like a metal sound or something.
But yeah, I enjoyed the little bit we saw. A little disappointed we missed the first few songs.
Yeah, I was too. But oh well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Lines of Loyalty. I guess one other thing, we walked around after their set, just sort of went back out to check out merch. Didn't have any plans to buy any merch, but they had a wheel. And I love spinning wheels, so I got to spend the $10 to spin the wheel. And got a bumper sticker that I'm not going to put on my car.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I thought like it would be really cool to buy bands bumper stickers and like just cover our car with them.
I don't like that idea.
I don't like it either. I don't like
NASCAR
seeing
sort
it.
of look.
Right? Like, but like on the doors and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought like most of the time when we're driving our car is to go to a concert. So I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to like.
I do see other cars that have them, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I've seen Rammstein, I've seen Avatar, the kind of stickers on the windows and stuff.
Coolest one was when we left the Behemoth. Well, it was Danzig concert, but Behemoth played, and somebody on Lakeshore had Behemoth across their back window, and it was really cool. So yeah, I've seen a couple cool ones, but
I don't think I would like that on our car.
No, I don't think so either.
A part of me is like, that'd be really cool, but then the other part's like, no, I'm not a fan of that. But anywho, $10, got a bumper sticker. I got to spin the wheel. That's really all I wanted to do.
You just wanted to spin the wheel.
It could have been like lose a spin or lose your turn type thing. And I've been completely
was that on
happy.
there?
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
But I'm just thinking like Jeopardy bankrupt. Or pay $10 more or something like that. I don't know.
Jeopardy is not bankrupt.
Oh,
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune. That's the other one.
Yeah.
Those shows were always back to back in my mind for some reason.
$1, Bob.
Yeah. A completely different show too.
I'm just saying all the game shows.
But their merch table had the wheel. I love the wheels. I want more bands to do it. Avatar always does it, and I love spinning it. Lines of Loyalty allowed you to use a card instead of cash, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we get to Dope next on the bill. So what do we have for a set list for them?
Yeah, so they start with Blood Money, Bring It On, Debonair, Bitch, Die Motherfucker Die, and then You Spin Me Around Like a Record.
Their big cover song there.
Yeah.
Super, super short fucking set.
It was. I think if they would have shut up and played, they could have played at least one more song.
At least one, but even that would have been a short set.
It would have been a short set, but that kind of got to me. I know you had a bit, like, you're either like, oh, I like the crowd banter, or I don't like it. And this one I was like, you guys are talking too much. Like, play another song. That was my opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure. There was definitely a lot of crowd interaction, crowd banter with them. And sure, you could have cut that out and had one more song, possibly. But I mean, like I said, one more song, super short. I think the first time we saw them with Static X, were they second on the bill, like second from the top?
Yeah. So it went from Dope to Static X. And we didn't even mention that we have seen Static X early, like pre-COVID. So
2019 was our first
time.
We
were like 2018 or 2019. We can't really remember exactly when.
Right, and Dope was with them there.
Yeah.
And again, Dope was with them earlier this year.
Yep.
It always seems like Dope and Static X are like touring together, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But that time they had, because they were so further up on the bill, they had a longer set list.
Yeah, there was a longer set list and a lot more crowd energy and stuff. I mean, it was just a different experience seeing them 4 or 5 years ago than this time, in my opinion. Yeah,
agreed. The set, like I said, we already said this a lot. The set was super short. I was kind of disappointed that it was so short, because by the time we get to You Spin Me Around, I was like, oh, really? That's probably it then, right? But you also mentioned that the crowd was sort of meh. There wasn't a whole lot of crowd movement going on. Everybody's just sort of standing there doing their own thing.
Yeah. I don't know. In my opinion, when we saw them 4 or 5 years ago at House of Blues with Static X, there was so much energy in the crowd and everybody was moving. The whole floor was moving. I mean, House of Blues we talked about so much, but like the floor is so small. They're like pretty much like if anybody's moving, like everybody's moving sort of thing. There's no way to like escape that kind of. And so I liked that energy. I liked that experience of seeing them. Like it was so much fun to, hear the songs and like feel the crowd moving around and everything. And then going into Static X, like that energy was still there. But then this time they even tried to get a pit going. Nobody moved. They did well though with it, because like, I mean, going back to seeing Falling in Reverse where the crowd wasn't doing what they wanted, so they were like, "Fuck you, we're gone."
We just left, right?
Yeah. And this is, they still played through it or whatever. They did make a comment like, "Nobody's moving." So, but I mean, it was just like a little bit different experience.
Yeah. And some of the crowd banter was also like, we're old as fuck. We've been around since the 90s. And you guys have been here with us from the beginning. You're old as fuck. We get it. It's a Thursday night. You have to get a babysitter now.
Right.
You can't just go to a show.
You're not paying $10 for a ticket. You're paying $50 a ticket.
Yep. Plus the babysitter fee, plus you have to work tomorrow and all of that. So like they were kind of pointing out that like our audience is a bit older than they were in the 90s for sure.
Yeah.
And I did feel that way looking around, that the average age was definitely, it felt older than us, and we're in our mid-30s, I felt like. So that could lead to why there wasn't as much movement in the crowd.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because I do feel like when we saw them at House of Blues that first time, and even earlier this year we saw them at House of Blues, the crowd age was younger for that show for sure. Also,
is it just different from Chicago to Indiana?
And that's another thing. We've talked a little bit about this with other shows too, where the crowd in each area, each venue you go to, like each market, Chicago is going to be different than Denver. Denver is going to be different than San Francisco versus Texas somewhere, right? Like all of those
I like
areas.
how you brought up Texas, so we've never seen a show in Texas.
No, but you know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to pick somewhere out.
Yeah.
And I picked the entire state and not
Surprised
like
you
Austin.
didn't. I'm surprised you didn't say like Florida, where the geriatrics go.
Oh, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, you like it feels different. Even, here's a good example I think that you can remember. we saw Disturbed back in the mid 2000s, like 3 times within a week or something, in Des Moines, in Cedar Rapids, and then somewhere else.
Milwaukee? Are you talking about 2019?
No. This is when we saw them in Waterloo. And the crowd at Waterloo was much different than the crowd at Des Moines.
Yeah.
Even within Iowa, like just those
yeah.
slight different geographic locations, the crowds act differently and
right.
engage differently with the music. And again, that just could be the same thing here where Gary, Indiana versus Chicago, it's a different crowd.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I would agree with that too, because even when we saw, like, we've been to a lot of Avatar shows, and we did go to, was it in Indianapolis, Indiana?
Yes, it was in Indianapolis. We saw them before Upheaval.
Last year, yes. And like that experience, seeing Avatar at that venue with that crowd was, in my opinion, different than we've seen before.
Yeah, and that one was also where, I don't know if we ever did a show on that show.
We tried, but we kind of had first ones. It was one of our first ones, and we had COVID.
Yeah.
And we had like that long cough afterwards, and like it was horrible.
But if you remember that particular show in Indianapolis, there were a lot of kids.
With the balloon pit.
And they had the balloon pit in like the ADA area where the kids were playing with balloons.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It was kind of funny.
It was fun. Awesome. I mean, it was a fun show. It was just a different experience than we had seen at other shows.
Yeah.
So
again, that sort of leads into like this performance where the crowd just wasn't really moving like we prefer to have crowds move and bounce around and whatnot. This was more of, we're going to hang back and just listen to music and have a good time.
Yeah.
Which is a way to consume live music.
Yeah, I like the crowd movement sometimes, but then sometimes I'm like, especially we had this show. Well, you went to Tech 9 even the night before, but then we had this show, and then we have 2 shows this weekend as well. And so in my mind, I'm like, I have to conserve some energy to get to Sunday night.
Yeah.
So it's like I try to like pick and choose when I want to be in the crowd or just kind of stand back. And it all depends on the music. Like when we get to Static X, like I like being more like in between everybody for like bands like Static X, where like Sevendust, I could have probably stood back a little. That's my own opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just not, I don't know the music. I'm not into the music as much. So.
And you brought this up with the House of Blues and the setup there. We didn't really talk much about the setup of this venue in terms of the stage and everything. So real quickly getting into that, the stage was very similar to the other casino we were at. In terms of you walk in, you're just in this giant empty hall, basically.
Yeah.
In the back, in this one and the other casino, I can't remember the name of that casino, but it's also in Indiana, just over the border.
Horseshoe?
It might have been Horseshoe, yeah. But they have the stadium's gym seating that you have in like high schools.
Yeah.
That fold up into like just the single pillar or wall, but then they come out to do stadium seating.
Yeah.
Have that. The other casino had balcony seating on top of that, though. This one did not. It was just sort of, here's your stadium seating that's consolidated down. Otherwise, a large open room space. The stage for this one was fucking massive.
Yeah.
Both
very deep.
Yes, very deep, but also massive left to right.
Yeah.
But the deepness was like, whoa, this is what the fuck.
And they were setting both Sevendust and I'm trying to think of where Dope's.
I think Dope was up a little further because the other drum kits.
Because the drum kits were already back there. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it still seemed really far back in my opinion, but so like when we get to Sevendust and Static X, I guess we're kind of moving to Sevendust, but like the drum kits were like way back, and it was like I personally couldn't see the drum kit for
it was really
most
hard.
of the band.
It was really hard to see.
But there were 2 screens on the side, just like Horseshoe had.
Yes, there were.
And so I found myself, especially during Sevendust, a lot looking at the screens more than I was looking at the stage.
Yeah,
but I felt like there was more people there for Sevendust than even Static X.
Oh, really?
Well, at least.
You think it like thinned out a little bit?
I think it thinned out a little bit.
Okay.
Or we were moved up a little bit further, and then.
Yeah.
So we couldn't see all the people, but I couldn't see for Sevendust very well.
Okay.
So
interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think I did talk to you during the venue or during the show and pointed up to like the the monitors that you just mentioned as well, and just being like, why do you need this? This venue's so small. Even Horseshoe, the last casino we went to and saw, they had, as you said, they had the...
Yeah, I didn't watch them, though, during
I watched them a little bit, but again, I was like,
yeah.
This venue's too small. Why do you have these monitors up here for that? But you said you relied on a lot.
For Sevendust, I did, yeah, to see the band. Because otherwise, with Sevendust, I didn't realize that there was 2 guitarists and a bassist. Like, 'cause I just couldn't see it. I don't know if the stage is lower.
It did feel like a lower stage for sure.
Or like, I don't know what the whole dynamic was that I just couldn't see very well. Which is okay, whatever.
There was one shot that was really cool because they had like a camera over the drum kits, so like they would show that view up on the monitors.
Oh yeah,
that was kind of cool. But this stage, it feels like it's mainly used for like plays or something potentially.
Yeah, we did talk about that, like walking out, that it could be potentially for other types of shows or plays. Because like with plays, you have kind of like 3 sets and like you drop curtains and stuff to like have the sets set up and stuff.
And you can just push them forward and whatnot and all of that kind of stuff. That's the only thing I can think of. And then that also then explains sort of why the stage might be lower, because you're going to be in seats for that kind of show.
Yeah.
You're not going to be standing like you do for a concert. But very generic sort of structure, just a big open room. Sounded fine. I had no issues with the sound quality whatsoever.
Yeah. For Dope that we were kind of off to the stage left? Stage right.
Stage right. We spent most of the night on stage right or center stage.
Yeah, I like center better. But when we were on stage right, I felt like I could only hear out of like the left side of my body.
Oh, really?
Like where it wasn't like, maybe just because we were so far over and the speaker was like right there, and it wasn't necessarily like surrounded by sound.
Gotcha.
That was just my own opinion.
Yeah. So. But yeah, Dope. Getting back to Dope. Dope was a good set. It was short, but it was still a good set, regardless.
Yeah. So I thought we were moving on to Sevendust because we started talking about.
Yeah, I just want to wrap that up.
Oh, okay.
Just say, good set, basically. But yeah, Sevendust. Let's dive into that. The co-headliner.
Yep.
What they have for their set list.
Sevendust started with "I Might Let the Devil Win," "Truth Killer," "Alpha," "Till Death," "Splinter," "Hero," "Denial," "Fence," "Strong Arm Broken," "Enemy," "Trust," "Everything," "Pieces," "Black," and then they ended with "Face to Face," which was kind of like an encore, if I remember right. They kind of like left and then came back.
Yeah, it was sort of a little brief.
Yeah,
encore
very
thing.
brief, yeah.
But a 15 song set list. Pretty good for a co-headliner, a proper co-headliner set length.
Yeah.
I've really been liking these co-headlining tours.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few of them this year. Yeah.
It feels new this year. I don't think I've remembered too many in the past being co-headliner tours.
We saw Korn and Evanescence last year.
But like it still seems like before that, I don't really remember seeing as many. This year, there definitely seems like there's a lot more, at least that we're going to and seeing.
Yeah, that could be. We're just going to them.
But I'm really enjoying it where even if we didn't get 2 openers and we got just 1 opener, I'd still enjoy this. Like the set length and everything. I think the Mega Monsters tour was just the 3 bands, right? Lorna Shore, Mastodon, and Gojira.
Yep.
And again, the 2 co-headliners had proper sets. We saw one this year, Ghost and Amon Amarth, where Amon Amarth got a small set.
Like 40 minutes, and then Ghost was like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I wish...
That was a very short concert for the amount of money we paid.
I really wish Amon Amarth would have played longer or played that length plus one other opener type thing. So that one is the only disappointment out of the co-headliner shows we've seen this year. But I've really been enjoying it. Our first time seeing Sevendust, and I enjoyed their set. I really did. I really didn't listen to Sevendust that much prior to this.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Like, I don't know Sevendust songs that well. I know in the car we were kind of talking about Sevendust a little bit, like on the way back. You said that Praise is a song that you know from like the radio, right? When we would listen to
not
radio
sure if
in Iowa.
Necessarily the radio, I'd hear that, but Praise is like the Sevendust song I know.
Oh, okay.
I've heard that so many times. It's like, it's the song. For me, when I think of Sevendust, that's the song. which is really weird. I didn't play that during this set.
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointed with that, but like that was a song everybody listened to growing up, and everybody loved Sevendust, and I just never got into them for some reason.
Yeah, all I can remember is listening to like Laser or whatever, and I can like hear like the host say like such and such song from Sevendust, but like if I heard the song I would know it, but I can't even put together like
and it wasn't praise.
It could be, but you played it in the car and it doesn't sound familiar to me.
Okay.
No, and I didn't hear. The only thing I could think of is if it was Splinter, maybe. That's the only song when they were playing it that I was like, I may have heard this before, but I really don't know. And like, I don't know why we haven't listened to Sevendust before.
I mean, their set was good. I enjoyed their set.
Yeah.
The energy was great. The sound was great. It was super awesome to see. I enjoyed it. I'd see them again. But same thing. I mean, so back when I started getting into metal and into music and whatnot, and like I said, everybody loved Sevendust, and I just never picked it up and never got into it. I don't know why I didn't pick it up, but I didn't. And I usually had sort of a narrow mind of like, here's what I like. I'd give a band a shot, and if I heard like one song I liked, cool, I'll try out another song. But if I didn't like that next song, then it's like, all right, I got other things I can listen to.
Yeah.
Like Lamb of God, Shadows Fall, Slipknot. Like those were the things I would gravitate towards. And Sevendust just didn't have that same sort of grasp for me like those bands did. But at the same time, Shinedown, 3 Days Grace, Pop Evil, like all of those bands I hated because they were on the radio.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, they're actually not bad. I enjoy their music a lot. It's not my favorite music, but it's music I really enjoy. I really enjoy their shows. Same thing with Sevendust. I think I'm more open and more willing to go back and listen to it. But I can't put my thumb on why, when I first started getting into music, that was a band I was like, I don't really care. I think my brother was really into Sevendust a little bit.
Oh, really?
Too. So maybe that was why. I was like,
possibly, yeah.
You don't know good music. I know good music. Or, one of those things, like if you like it, then I'm not going to like it type thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely something I'll definitely check them out more now. Like I said, we've evolved, and you've said this, we've evolved. Our tastes have changed, and our openness to allow new music we don't really listen to.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I would agree with that. There wasn't much memorable about this set, though, to me. Like, none of these... well, did they have they had a background? So
they used, I think, the same sort of setup that Static X will end up using, where they have, like, the LED screens. Like the ones on the ground and the ones standing up. So I think they utilized some of that for, like, background effects and visuals. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot more going on outside the band, just having a good time playing.
Yeah, I don't even necessarily remember the band members moving around. But then again, I couldn't see much.
Yeah, you said that, yeah.
So, like, I just don't have any big memories of, like, anything spectacular happening or anything.
Yeah, and my memory is, the music's good. The band has some good energy, some good sound. It's good. I'll check it out again. Like, that's where my thought is. Like, this isn't an amazing show. It's definitely not a bad show. It's a good show. But it's not one of, like, my top shows of the year for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
It's just one of those things. We're at Live Music. I'm here to check it out. I'm having a good time tonight. They're helping me have a good time. So let's just keep having a good time. So, yeah, that's... I guess that's where I'm at with Sevendust.
Yeah.
Good show. I enjoyed it. I said good a lot there, but...
Were they good?
They were fine, yeah. They were good. I'd enjoy it. Anything else for you then, I guess?
No.
Were they good?
Sure, yeah. I don't know if I'll check them out that much. I don't know, I should.
I mean, so I added them to the playlist. Right?
Yeah, we'll listen to them on the playlist. Well, we found out we have 82 hours of music on that.
87 hours at the moment, and we've got
82.
more shows. 87. It didn't update. On the computer, it shows 87.
Oh, okay. Well, I shared the wrong thing on Instagram then.
Oh,
because I shared it on Instagram. Like, I can't believe we've seen 82 hours of live music. Not counting the double, like, because we don't add this set list again.
We saw Disturbed twice now, so we've only thrown
Bloodywood twice.
Bloodywood.
Well, that whole tour twice.
Yep.
So, yeah.
What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh, yeah, no. I added them to the playlist the very next day after the show, and then I went somewhere to do something.
Went to lunch.
Yes, I walked to lunch, and I listened to music as I walked, and Sevendust came up within that like 30, 40-minute walk to lunch and back. Sevendust came up 3 times.
Yeah.
So like they're on the playlist now. It's really weird how that algorithm works for Spotify when you're on shuffle.
We're really trying to figure it out because
my guess is because they're in town, they're in your area. We're gonna promote their music.
Gonna play it.
It's got to be something like that because I don't know. Anywho, getting to Static X then, closing out the show.
Yeah, I was most excited for Static X for this whole night. I don't know about you.
So the first time we saw Static X in 2019, you didn't really listen to them before.
I didn't know their music. No,
you had heard me play a few songs because you left out like, oh, I remember you playing that song.
Yeah,
I
remember Push It and
Destroy All probably.
Maybe. I can't remember back from 4 or 5 years ago, but I remember Push It a lot.
Yeah. But I remember after that show, you were like, I really liked that show. I liked them. I want to listen to more of their music.
Yeah.
And you were super excited earlier this year and disappointed we had to leave.
Yeah, it was okay though.
And then when we're like, oh, but we get to see him again later in the year for this show, you were very excited.
I was ready to see him again. Yeah, and Static X I don't listen to Static X between shows. Like I don't seek out Static X music. But to me, all Static X songs are the same, sound the same. They have the same beat and everything, which I know for some band, Disturbed's the same way. All their music sounds the same. You know it's a Disturbed song. You know this is a Static X song. But it's not like one of those where it sounds exactly the same where I'm tired of listening to this. It's like, I like this beat. I like what's happening here.
They sound similar enough that you can pick up like, oh, that song is like the structure. Like that's a Static X song. That's a Disturbed song.
Yeah.
So why don't we get into the set list for Static X?
Yeah. So they started with Hollow, Terminator Oscillator, Love Dump, Sweat of the Bud, Wisconsin Death Trip, Fix, Blood for Days, Black and White, This Is Not, Zombie, Get to the Gone, I Am, Destroy All, Cold, I'm With Stupid, and Push It.
Yeah, again, a good solid headlining set here, but they were the closing act, so proper set list and set length. But again, I love it when these co-headliner sets are like sharing the time.
True sets, yeah.
So you expect the closing act to have a good set, and this was a good length for a set. Super awesome set as well. So a lot more room to play with in terms of like the stage, since it's a larger stage as we talked about than we've seen them at House of Blues. There's like a little one of those staircase things, like the movable staircases that Zero, the lead singer and rhythm guitar, would come out and just like play on and sing on just for a little bit and then go back. Also, he wears this weird ass fucking mask thing like over it. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
With like the red glowing eyes.
Oh, those aren't his real eyes?
Those are not his real eyes.
No, I knew that. You were like, did you realize that?
Well, I didn't know if you could see him.
No, I could see the stage.
Like always wearing that.
I could see the stage perfect, and that's why I don't know what the difference. I thought maybe the crowd thinned out enough, or not enough. That's the wrong way to say it, but the crowd thinned out between Sevendust and Static X, because I could see so much better for Static X than I did for Sevendust.
We definitely moved up further, but also because the stage was larger and they had more room. I don't know if they did this in House of Blues for the last tour, but there were like robot figure people coming out every now and then.
There was a zombie
dancing around and shit.
Oh no, it started with the robot. The like robot thing that came out with the jack-o'-lantern head.
Oh right, yeah, I forgot about that.
It was like a jack-o'-lantern ball, disco ball.
Right. Yes, the disco ball jack-o'-lantern thing. That was really cool to see. But a lot more like monster-y type things.
Yeah, and then they had the zombie that came out.
I can't remember all of them.
I can't either.
I just thought it was like, oh, that's kind of cool to have. Like, sort of like Iron Maiden has Eddie come out in different costumes and whatnot.
Yeah.
This wasn't one particular mascot, I don't think. It was just different figures came out into different things. The Halloween figure or creature was definitely appropriate for it being October, spooky season and whatnot. I thought that was really fun. So I don't know. I do like it when the bands pull out like these little monster, these like little characters come out. Mastodon did it for their show. They had like their little kaijus come out and dance around for that. And they also have a lot of really good effects in terms of visuals behind them. They utilized those LED monitors that we were talking about really well too. But so I like when the live performance throws in these other little effects and other little things like that. Like pyro's a good example of one. I don't think they had pyro at all during this.
The firework things.
Oh, like the little sparkler things. Yeah, I'm thinking more of like the fireballs that go up.
I don't think you can do that in a
probably
casino.
Probably they would not. I don't know. Some casinos do fire and shit, but maybe
really.
Yeah, like for magic and all that shit. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, I think that's a little different for magic. They're like, I was gonna say juggle it, but that's a juggler.
Anywho, live music isn't just, you're not just there for the music. You're there for the performance and the show, and this definitely adds to that show aspect of it. Another thing that adds to sort of the live aspect of music that we really enjoy is when they start doing, tributes and stuff for past members, and they definitely did one here too for Wayne.
Yeah, during Cold. They did one in 2019 as well, and I can't remember if it was the same or I remember Zero coming out and saying like, thank you for having me as the vocalist. We didn't know how this would be
how the fans would receive
it, like how it would be received by everybody and everything, but it's been going great, blah blah. Sorry, not blah blah blah. I shouldn't say that. But so this time, they did like a little video of Wayne singing Cold, and then like on the screen on the back, and then they performed Cold or whatever. So it was a really good tribute to him. Yeah,
it can be hard, I guess, for bands definitely to do that, because I know Hell Yeah did it after Vinny died, and they did this sort of like they had the tour already booked, but it was sort of like it turned into a tribute to Vinny at that point,
like a memorial tour or something.
Basically, yeah. And they did like a little bit another memorial for him. I think it was during, I can't remember what song it was, but they did a whole memorial thing for him as well, and it was like super emotional and really nicely done and very well received by the audience that I saw. And this was well received too, I felt like.
Yeah. And they did, I can't remember if it was before Cold or after Cold, but then they went around and did the whole like introducing the band. And I mean, obviously everybody's friends with Wayne, or like the drummer and him like started the band or whatever. I mean, it goes way back. But for Static X, out of all the bands that played, the crowd was the most active during Static X.
Definitely, I did notice that. Yeah, it was definitely a lot more active.
A good pit going almost all night. People crowd surfing, just what you would normally see at a normal show. And maybe they did mention a lot of us are older, so maybe everybody was just saving their energy for Static X. But yeah, it was a lot more what I wanted to see from a show, where I was hoping, it would go like Dope, a lot of energy, Static X, a lot of energy, like what we had at House of Blues back in 2019. But
I felt like the energy was better for Static X. I do also feel like it was a little meh energy.
Compared to 2019, yeah. But right. I mean, it was...
Compared to the entire night, it was definitely the
best,
best energy for sure. Yeah. But also, I was like, this energy.
Where's your energy at these shows?
Oh, I don't move. I don't do shit. I want other people to do stuff.
Me too.
So I don't know. Maybe it starts with us. Maybe we need to start being more energetic during shows and whatnot. If that's what we like anyway. So I don't know.
But I agree with you. I want other people to have energy, and I just want to enjoy. I want to feed off of their energy.
Right. Bounce me around type thing.
Yeah. Like
I don't want to be in the pit, but if the crowd starts moving and I can't control where I go, cool. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
If somebody's thrown into the top of my head, I'm cool with that. Like, yeah, I do like that. Yeah,
I'm the same way, where I'm like, I'm cool if the pit opens up by me, or like if somebody, gets knocked into me from the pit or something. I don't know. I'm cool with that, but I'm not going to be in the middle of it.
In the middle of it, starting it up and whatnot.
No.
Same. I don't know why. I do like being on the edge of the pit. I don't like being in the pit. I do like crowd surfers kicking me in the face as they come over. I don't know why.
But you would never crowd surf?
I would never crowd surf, no. but I'm glad with being, like I said, kicked in the face for other people coming across. It was a fine show. The energy of the crowd was, for me, lower than I would have wanted, but it was a good show regardless. I had a lot of fun all night long. Definitely want to see all of these bands again, for sure.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, before we take off, then I just wanted to quickly touch on the casino show aspect of things. As I said earlier, this was the second casino show for you. My third, I saw one, Nine Inch Nails in 2018 at the Hard Rock in Vegas. Of those three, or I guess of the two venues for you, which one has been your favorite venue to go to?
I feel like they're the same for the venue aspect.
Oh, really?
They weren't really much different between the two, in my opinion. It's just an open room with a stage. We stood kind of further back for like Macedon and Gojira, so like when you stand a little bit further back, you can see like the stage more than when you're up close, at least for me, because I'm not a head taller than everybody else. That was another thing you mentioned. Indiana people are my height.
Yeah, everybody was a much shorter.
Maybe that's why I couldn't see anything, because everybody's head was at my head.
I did feel like I was taller than most people.
I forgot you said that.
Normally, there's a few people that are taller than me that were around, and there were here too. Just the number was lower than I'm used to.
And you're like, yeah, everybody here is so short. And I'm like, no, they're like, look, their heads are like the same height as my head, which I guess I am shorter than you. But anyways, so to me, it's the same. From a casino aspect, I liked Horseshoe a lot better than I liked this casino.
Same. I did like the other casino better, which then I think leads into me liking the venue better as an overall sort of venue, taking the casino into it as well. But I agree, both of the venues are basically the same. It's like when we walked in, I was like, oh shit, this is identical to the last one. The only difference being the balcony for Horseshoe. Yeah. And possibly the stage wasn't as deep. I can't remember how deep the stage was. I don't think it was that deep.
I don't think it was that deep. Unless they had like a curtain before the screens or something. Like maybe it is as deep, but they use curtains or something to cut it off.
But because of that, I think I enjoyed the Horseshoe better as well.
Yeah.
The casino aspect and how it was laid out in terms of you have to walk to the back of the casino, go up a flight of stairs into the concert area.
Yeah. That is true. It was almost like it was two separate areas, where this one it's like
right off the casino floor.
But both of them are designed well, where you have to walk through the casino.
Oh, they always
to
are.
Get
you
to
have to,
the venue.
That's the whole point. And then put a few bucks in the machine right next to the door and all of that.
Yeah. And even Horseshoe, I guess it kind of had two, I'm going to use the word lobby areas. It's not, but like where merch was, where the bathrooms were and stuff. Horseshoe has two of those. One like on one side and one on the other. I don't know how to explain it, but where this one was just like one hallway, where when people left, it was like everybody gathered in that one little area.
So then I guess a question for you. Do you enjoy going to these casino shows, or is it just sort of like it's a show?
It's a show. I don't see anything difference between going to a show at a casino versus a show at a regular venue.
I guess there's more to do after the show right away that you can slowly mosey around instead of just like sit in your car at a different venue where you're just sitting there waiting for traffic to clear out.
That's true.
There's stuff to do to entertain you.
Oh, we don't drive to very many shows, so that doesn't bother us too much, but
we don't. We did pick the Horseshoe for that Mega Monsters tour because I think it was a Saturday and it was close.
Yeah.
But that tour was also in Milwaukee at the Rave.
Yeah.
So, all things considered, Saturday show in Indiana or Saturday show at the Rave, what would you prefer? Would you prefer?
Oh, I would go to the Rave over.
Even though we might have to like stay the night and get a hotel room.
That's fine.
Okay. But if it's on a Tuesday night, going to the Horseshoe over the Rave probably.
Oh yeah, if it was a weeknight, yeah. Just because my work schedule is making it harder.
Assuming, of course, they're not going to be in Chicago proper.
Right. Yeah, if we had to choose Indiana versus Milwaukee on a weeknight, I would have to choose Indiana.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I mean, it's not anything about Indiana. It's like the whole drive. I mean, both places I hate driving to.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
It's like, it's okay.
Just a little wanted to check in there. We don't
Yeah.
talk about venues a whole lot in terms of where it falls into the ranking of venues, but
I know on our way out of the show and everything, you were already talking about this, and to me, it's just it's a venue that holds a concert.
Yeah.
I don't see anything different about it.
I mean, like I said, the entertainment aspect of stuff to do and entertainment being questionable if you find gambling entertaining or not.
Yeah.
But also having restaurants right there to get food real quick before or after.
Yeah.
Helps.
I guess right there, even like Horseshoe's better because they had like the fast food type options.
Yeah.
Where this was like
the sit down
and wait for food.
There may have been another fast foodie option there. I don't know if there was.
So.
But I mean, it's sort of an all-in-one destination sort of.
Yeah, I guess you could stay in a hotel and stuff all right there and not have to worry about going anywhere. But
versus going up to like Aragon and trying to find food beforehand or after is either a bar or something like that maybe you don't want to go to a bar. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. We don't talk about where venues fall on our list because we do pick shows based on venue also, not
sometimes
just
depending on the tour.
So I just wanted to put a feeler out there to see what you were thinking in terms of casino venues themselves. But I agree with you where you're saying it's a venue's a venue.
Yeah, it's a venue. Yeah,
but this does have a little bit of extra perks, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, out of these two versus some venues like even here in Chicago, I like the wide open floor aspect of it than like House of Blues where you're like staggered, or even like the Vic where you're staggered and that sort of thing.
I do like that better.
Yeah.
Definitely that wide open floor, and where you go is where you go.
Yeah.
So all in all, a perfectly fine show.
Perfectly fine.
It was a fine show for me.
I had a lot of fun during Static X, but I get where you're coming from.
If the crowd was a little more energetic, then I would have.
It would be kind of fun sometime to do multiple shows on a tour. I mean, we've done it with some bands, and kind of compare like
go to Milwaukee, Indiana, somewhere else.
How the show went, and not necessarily just in this area, like because you were even saying like Texas probably has a different crowd than Florida, and like stuff like that. But that takes a lot of money and a lot of time, and
it would, yes,
a lot of stuff like that.
But that would be a fun thing to do sometime.
Yeah, just experience the same show, but like in a different spot.
Because a lot of these bands also play the same set list across shows. Like the set list we got from these, I don't think any of them were from the show we saw. They were from previous shows.
Oh, okay.
So the set lists are not going to change. If they do, it's not that much. There might be like one or two songs, but most bands play the same set list across the entire thing. So I like that idea. We should try that sometime, maybe a few years from now. But
we'll have to save some money to do that. But
in any case, a good show. I enjoyed it.
Me too.
Go out, seek out live music. It's awesome.
Yep. Bye.